Hello YouTube, Mike at Carbonite Lab here, and this is going to be the first in a series of vlogs that are going to be talking about something very near and dear to my heart. And yep, it's right here, the Star Wars role-playing game. I'm going to start just from the point of view of a role-playing gamer, somebody who already understands what a role-playing game is. Most notably, the most common and popular is going to be Dungeons & Dragons. Everybody who has played role-playing games most likely has probably started with D&D at some point. I'll give you a brief history. I started playing D&D when I was 12 years old. I remember sitting on the floor of my buddy's bedroom. He built a quick character for me. I think it was a paladin, as a matter of fact, which I never really got into. But I remember running through a dungeon, and he had his book out, had some dice out. We're running through the dungeon. He's actually drawing this out on paper as we're mapping this whole thing out in front of us. And once I really got into understanding what it was, I was hooked. I was hooked from day one. So then a couple years go by. I've been playing all this time, and instead of going from like one core rule book, one monster manual, one book of spells, then the new edition comes out. And then they come out with more monsters, and then they come out with eventually the modules and things that started coming off, and of course then it branched off into a whole bunch of other stuff. At the zenith of my D&D playing, I was constantly going to the conventions that we used to have in the local area. Some of them were held at high schools over the weekend, some of them were held at convention centers, and these conventions were rad. I mean, literally you show up with a bunch of buddies, you got your books, got your dice, got all the stuff you're going to need, and all the games are listed like on a table, and you would sign up for whatever game it is you want to play. Whether it would be Run the Dungeon of the Deep, or something about Keldor's Fallen Bridge, or whatever it is, but there'd be several games that you could sign up for as long as there were spots available for it, and then a prescribed time that you would actually show up to play this thing. And let's say, for example, the one I remember, we played, it was a dungeon. It was under the mountain of some dwarf kingdom. I know it sounds very Lord of the Rings, right? But we showed up, we walked into this room, there were 7 of us in the campaign, plus the DM. They literally closed the door, locked it, and here you are sitting at this massive table with a DM, 7 other people, and just there's a mountain of candy and Mountain Dew in the center of the table because everybody brought their shit. I mean, that's how you did it back in the day. You brought all your junk food, always had Mountain Dew, because Mountain Dew was fresh out back then, and everybody loved it. We'd stay up all night playing this game, and you're locked in this room until that mini campaign ended. And that's how it was for me for a while, and that's how we used to play. And we're going to fast forward a couple more years, and I realized that Star Wars RPG is something that's coming out. Now, I always thought it would be kind of cool when I was in D&D, because I was a huge Star Wars fan. Always have been, always will be. When this thing dropped, I was like, wait a minute, hold the fucking phone. I can play a Jedi? You mean I get to have a lightsaber? I get to possibly fly around in a Millennium Falcon? Oh, dude, sign me up. Where is this book? How much is it? I need to buy it because I need to build a character right now. I need to play. That's all it was. It was love at first sight. I was hooked instantly. When I realized that they had a Star Wars RPG, that was it. Look at me, I'm getting all excited just talking about it and thinking about it, remembering about it. So here I am now, an adult. Look at me, I'm caressing this book like it's, like supple, like a woman's skin. Here I am now as an adult, and I find myself still playing this game, albeit now I'm more of a GM than I am a player when it comes to Star Wars, because I have a lot of friends that are like-minded and love it when I have a campaign, and we've been playing for many years now, some of which has been the same campaign and same players. I think when I'm getting off topic here, but the point is, I still love this game. Like D&D, those of us that have been playing it for years, you don't ever get rid of it. You don't ever get tired of it. It's even like Warhammer, You just don't get tired of it, and you have to find some way to find time to play this game, because I've gone for like 6 months at a stretch without playing, and I start to jones for it. You know, it's like I'm like a pothead that hasn't had some weed in a while. You start to jones for it, and then you start talking to your buddies like, "Hey, man, we should get a campaign together." You know, it's like the Blues Brothers, man. I'm getting the band back together, and everybody gets excited. And that's how it's been for me. You know, I would say over the past 5 years, we've had one campaign in particular that lasted 6 months stretch, and then we took a break for 6 months, did a different campaign with somebody else, and then came back to it like a full year later, picked that campaign back up and ran it for another 6 months. So, I mean, you could do so many cool things. Now, if you're a Star Wars fan and you don't know what RPG is, shame on you. But if you're a Star Wars fan and you know what RPG is, but you've never done it, shame on you. You need to get this book. If you're a Star Wars fan and you like the idea of wielding a lightsaber, this is the game for you. If you have a vivid imagination and you like Star Wars and you want to do RPG, get this book. I mean, I'm serious. This book has been with me through several states. Look at it, it's all beat up on the edges, and I got my tabs here on the side, got papers stuffed in it. This edition in particular is my favorite edition because it's streamlined probably about as much as you can be before they started changing some of the stuff. But this edition as well, with the red lightsaber, it has characters and vehicles and environments that you'll find in all 6 movies, as opposed to the early edition, which only has just the last 3 movies in it. So this is my favorite edition. The newer ones, not so much. As a matter of fact, I think this is a Wizards of the Coast. They actually did D&D for a while. So this is the one I've been working with for a long time. Kind of flip this thing back over here. So what I want to do is I want to do a vlog series on, the Star Wars RPG, because, I mean, let's face it, I've been playing this longer than I've been playing tabletop war games. I've been playing this way longer than I've been playing Warhammer. So some of the things that I'm thinking about doing, or some of the vlogs that I'm thinking about posting here, are going to be like how to create a player, how to create a storyline, and then some of the topics that may come up. If you're a GM, what to do with dead characters. One of my favorite things of all when I'm running a game is coming up with random character flaws, how to create tension, dealing with overpowered characters, dealing with absent players, unexpected skill checks, things like that. So that's what I'm thinking about. And if you guys out there in the community have any ideas for a video in regards to Star Wars RPG, post it in the comments. Let me know. I'd be happy to go over that with you. I've been doing this a long time with this book right here, so I know it pretty well. Likewise, if you just have any comments, like you're a Star Wars fan, but you never got into the RPG aspect of it, let me know. I'll do whatever I can to try and sell you on it. Absolutely. I'll roll a D20 and see what I get for a diplomacy roll. Maybe I'll get you to swing over, from D&D to Star Wars. That doesn't mean you got to drop the D&D. No, I still play D&D. I got a buddy that runs a D&D campaign that we jump back into every couple of months because it's still role playing. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But for me, the Star Wars universe is where it's at. So I'll be posting some more videos here soon. And like I said, if you guys have any comments or suggestions or things you wanna see or you wanna see me talk about, put it down in the comments section. Send me a message. Let me know. This ought to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. So we'll talk to you guys later.